All right, so thank you so much for everyone who's listening here. This video will also be recorded and saved up on our auditor website and on YouTube and different social media accounts. So we appreciate you taking a few minutes this afternoon to learn a little bit more about our GIS program. With me in our office, we have Caroline Peterson and Alex Irochi, who are excellent and work diligently with our GIS program to make our office one of the most visited and reached out to offices for this type of data here in the county. So we'll be beginning with Caroline sharing a few helpful hints and tips through some videos from her screen. And then as we go on, please feel free to chat in any questions that you may have. Also, at the very end, we'll be having opportunity for question and answer. We want to be diligent about your time, so we'll be ending this right around 1 o'clock. So without further ado, Caroline, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you, David, for that lovely introduction and for this time on this forum. So first, I'd like to start with where the maps are located. You go to our main website, and right here it says Maps. And then it'll load. And then this is the first thing you'll see. Your screen will probably be a little bit bigger, but now I'm going to go to the video that I've created. First thing, GIS stands for Geographic Information System. That means it's this world of technology that helps users like you and me understand the spatial patterns of land and property. And what we do at the auditor is we utilize this technology in every office. Every property has a story and history. What we do is make it easier for you to read that story. And the first thing I'm going to go through are the different layers we have available, the ones that are used the most and just ones that I'm sure some of you didn't even know about. So what's in your backyard? So here we have our parcels, acres, and owners. This is under the cadastral layer. You can just check these boxes off, and the parcels online, that'll show up when you're zoomed in real close, and same as the owner and acreage. If you wanted all the parcel lines on, you'd choose all parcel line or all parcel label. You can see that it gives you acreage, parcel ID, and the owner name. We also have our address location parcels and our address points. Our parcels are assigned an address, but oftentimes there's also address points, which are basically points
used for emergency response.
Used for emergency response, yes. And parcels can often be assigned multiple addresses. And that would be not under the cadastral, but I kept my lines on so you can see the lines. And this will show you the address point. And you can see how some of them are different. So now we're going to explore all of the layers. So here is their survey update. These are the most up-to-date surveys that have been taken. These are the most up-to-date surveys that were taken. Go back. Okay, pause. So these are our surveys. Oftentimes our drawer will draw parcel lines to be more specific and to coordinates. So we have the list of surveys that were done within the county right here. Then we have our right-of-ways, which is another thing our drawer draws in. And right-of-ways is an easement that allows other people to travel or pass through your land. A common form of a public right-of-way would be a road or a path through your land or through public access area. And then here's our water features. You can select, you can click on the feature and our next layer and I turned off, wow, this is going fast. I turned off the roads and the parcel lines so we can see the other layers. These are wetlands. We have dams, that comes from ODNR. Our park layers, railroads, and these are all Ohio roads right here. Finally, we get to our tax districts. This right here would be our library tax district. Right here would be our local tax districts. And this right here would be our school tax districts. And then here we go to our census. You can search your census tract or your census block. Then we come to soil. Soils show up when you zoom in real close. The labels, you'll see different types of soils. Now we have our hydrants for the county, our 10-foot contours, and the contour lines with wider spacing represents a gentle slope, while the closer spaced contours indicates a steeper terrain. It's an important thing to note. These are our gas and oil wells. This comes from ODNR. Then our FEMA flood zone hazards. And that's it. So now we're going to move on to our other video. Are there any questions so far? David, you let me know if you have any questions.
Sure.
So first I want to kind of go through how you can zoom in. Or you know what, actually before we get to the widgets, I'm going to go online and show you some quick tricks. So right here is our map viewer.
So we have a question. Does the water choice show ponds?
Yes, it does. The water, oh yeah, water features, it shows streams light, and lakes. Sometimes the water features layer has been kind of finicky lately. Oftentimes there is some difficulty with our connection to our layers. And that's why it's really important for you guys to contact us if there's any problems, so we know and we can deal with them at that time. The wetlands does have a pond layer. It has pond, lake, ravine, emergence, and forested shrub. So that's another good way to spot those ponds. So let's do this in full screen. So one trick you can do to zoom in is hold down the shift key and then draw a rectangle, and it'll go to your location that you've drawn. That could get really helpful when you're trying to zoom into a location and your screen's going crazy. So you just use that tool and you can go right there. Then we have our My Location tool. If you're in the field and you want to use our app, you can turn on this location and it will tell you where you're at. And again, I'm going to put this right there and it'll follow you around. Then you can go back extents with the back button and so on. And now I'm going to go back to home, which would be our full screen. Okay. Now we're going to move back to the video.
Would that be a good app for people hiking if they get lost?
Sure.
How would they use that?
Well, I would use it to try to find the property boundary or the nearest road if I were.
Can they do a GPS where if they're on their phone?
Well, turn on your location on your phone and then press that little key right there. Sometimes you don't need internet access if your phone has cached, but usually you need some type of signal, some type of mobile network to connect to it. And that'll show you where you are on the map. I also have the mobile map viewer is a very simplified view of our map, which is better if you're in the field. It's very simple. It doesn't have many layers, but it's mainly for, that time our forester uses this map. This is his map of preference. Tells you where you are and it guides you. Okay. So I'm going to my next video. Okay, so I showed you the shift and zoom. So right now I'm going to zoom over to Jefferson. Let me get there.
Give me that full view.
Yes. Zooming in. I'm going to try to measure using the measuring tool. I'm going to use location measure around the courthouse, show all the lengths. So we have 68 feet, 70 feet, or 80 feet. So this tool, people like to use this. Okay. People like to use this because it shows you all the different lengths of the sides. You can also turn on bearings, which will tell you the degrees on each side. So a surveyor might be interested in something like this. Show you all those. Question?
What is the Apple app called?
The Apple app?
So for the Apple app, do you mean how to look at our map on your iPhone if you were to download it? Is that the question?
Let's keep going out.
Okay.
So you're currently measuring out.
Yeah, we're currently measuring.
Yes,
And you can adjust these sides. You can delete it by right-clicking, or you can move that little white node right there, and it'll create 2 more white nodes. And you can adjust it that way, or you can delete these. So it's very adjustable. It really gives you a lot of opportunities to adjust layers, and it automatically changes the measurements too. So now we're gonna try this with the drawing tool that also has measuring capability. So I'm going to give it a name, auditor's office. I already added a label. So right now I just added labels, Wall Street, and I'm going to add another label to the auditor's office. We like our coffee here at the auditor's office. And just how long does it take to get there? Every moment counts when you need caffeine. And you can just draw your lines. And go out the try to the security guards. And across the street, you're at Wall Street Coffee. And it looks like it's about 643 feet, but I don't really like that label. I want it to be bigger so people can see it. I want to print this, so it's important that it looks good. So I don't like that color. Okay, there we go. Yeah. All right, now with this drawing, I'm now going to do an advanced layout printing. So the advanced layout, this is a very new tool. Not going to lie, it's not perfect, but The girls in the map room love it. A lot of people like it because you can draw a shape over what you're about to print. And you can adjust the scale. So I'm going to make my scale 1 inch equals 75 feet. Now I'm going to print it. There you go.
Can anyone label a map, or is it just our department that can label a map?
Anyone can label a map. That's why the tool is there.
And that's the process that you just did.
That's the process that I just did. And I could show you guys again once we get through this. So this is our standard printing tool. And this does the same thing. It could be a little bit more difficult to print sometimes, but you just gotta, okay, so now we're in our query. So the query tool is really, really interesting. You can do more analysis. You can, it gives you more capability and more spatial analysis information. Let's say you're a conservation agency, you're interested in identifying where possible landowners to restore large parcels of land. I say this because I used to work at Nature Conservancy a couple of years back. So, and we're going to start with acreage. And you'll see that in your layer list, it makes a new layer. So we're going to do between 500 feet and, or no, acres. We're going to do between 500 acres and 5,000 acres. We want it to be near our streams. And I'm not going to apply a search distance. I'm going to change the layer name. Streams. Parcel. Stream parcels. And then it zooms to those parcels that are nearest streams that were in our extent. And then there you go. And this is just one example. You can do this with tax districts. You can do this with wetlands. You can do this with dams. And then again, this makes a new feature in the side panel. So I'm now changing the color. These 3 little dots, you can change colors. So another thing you can do is you can export layer information with the selection tool into a CSV, which is Excel spreadsheets. And it can save you a lot of time entering parcels if you're interested in a specific area. So I'm going to go here to Geneva on the Lake. And I want to get all these parcels. So I'm going to turn my selection on. You want to make sure it's dark green. Draw a rectangle around it. It also selects that, but we just want our parcels online. So export to CSV. So the screen share actually doesn't show you the Excel spreadsheet, but it's there.
And
It's there.
What's in the Excel spreadsheet? What type of information?
Everything that is in our parcels.
So it's address, mailing address.
Address, mailing address,
Owner.
owner, everything that you find in our parcels is in there. So selection, new layer. So you can also create a new layer with our selection tool. So I'm just going to choose municipalities or roads. I guess road center line. Yeah. And we have statistics that gives you a summary of everything that you selected as well. Also, I'd like to just show you that when you select something, it also pulls up the attribute table if you open that. And that's where that export to CSV is. So now we're creating a layer of those road center lines. I'm just going to call it layer. And if we, shows you everything that would be in our normal roads.
And you can use this new layer as part of a query tool as well.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, so the selection, all these all these widgets work very, very well. You guys really need to experiment with it and just try a bunch of new stuff, play around with it, because you'll learn stuff that I don't even know about. So now this is our coordinate conversion. I'm not sure. This is more so a surveyor thing or someone who really likes coordinates. You can just define an area on our map and it tells you the input tells you that one, and then it converts all the other ones. So now this is filter. Now I have some examples of the filters right here. So I have some examples of the filters right here. These are more so examples. People should really try creating the filters on their own. So you go to that little icon on the bottom. I'm going to choose municipality, name, and I'm only going to choose Ashtabula and Ashtabula Township. And how this is different than the query and the selection is that it doesn't make a new layer, it just removes all the other layers. So the only thing in your view, this would be kind of helpful for parcels. If there's too many parcels, you wanted just to select a couple parcels, or if there was just a couple of roads that you were specifically interested, it removes everything else and just leaves. But a lot of the other widgets have that same functionality, except it would either create a new layer or create a new layer. So a really cool tool I'd also like to show would be our swipe tool. So I'm going to turn on our new one. So how this works is that you want the layer that you're going to swipe on top. So this is Geneva on the Lake because everyone knows about the erosion going on there. You can see how it's really changed.
And you're comparing 2017 to 2020.
2017 to 2020.
What are some of the layers that we have that folks could compare?
We have, well, all of them. All of them you can compare.
Like what years going back to?
Well, on here we have 2004, 2006, 2014, 2017, and 2020. And I'm probably going to add some more. I found another one from, I think, 2010 that I'm going to add in. But these aerial images are extremely large files, like tens and tens of gigabytes, sometimes over 100 gigabytes. Our current aerial now, I think it's over like 200 gigabytes.
2 terabytes.
Oh, it's 2 terabytes? Yeah, so it's pretty large.
We do about 5 minutes left.
Okay, sorry. Okay. So this is our add data. I really want to show you guys this because you can add your own data. Right now, I'm just going to search Ohio. I'm going to, I don't know, oil and gas fields. Here we go. And you can add any data that's in this open ArcGIS Online source. You can add anything. You look for it, you add it. You can also add a URL, and I have some examples of those URLs you can add. And again, I invite you guys to just really play around with it and try to accomplish anything that you might be interested in. So now our video is done. And any questions or, oh, you know what? There's another thing I want to show you guys. The historical map app.
And while Caroline's pulling this up, feel free to chat in any questions that you might have. And we'll also be sharing out Caroline and Alex's contact info, and maybe more than happy to meet with you digitally or in person safely, of course, and be able to help with any of your interests.
All right, so right here is our historical map app. You can look up a parcel right here. What's a parcel? Oh, let's just use current. Wow. It already knows. So this is 1938, this is 1950, this is 1966, and this is 1979. So this is really cool, and the link is on our main website right here. Go to it anytime. Yeah. Okay. So let me see where the questions might be.
Those aren't the old parcels though. Those are the
Oh,
current
parcels have
parcel
changed, yeah.
lines, but it's overlaid over historical imagery.
Do we have any more questions? David, you can be in charge of the questions.
Right. So if anyone types in. So how, if someone wants to get a hold of you guys, what is the best way to do so? Or if someone sees an issue with a map, for example, has a question?
The best way to contact me would be email. Completely.
What's the email address?
It is GIS@ashtabulacounty.us. Really easy to remember. Don't even need to write it down, it's just that. Also, if anyone's ever, oh, you know what? There's another thing that's really cool, weather. This is a new app that I added, and it will show you your weather where you're at. So right now we're in Jefferson, tells us our weather.
But the big thing to kind of take home
Yeah,
from
that's,
this would be to,
yeah.
as you said, try out, test out.
Test
some of the
out.
different pieces and email you if they've got questions or a whole host of different things. This is just kind of a